Oh, you're not lying. Alright, I really thought there was a camera, though. That's
Oh, I need a pencil.
I have it. But we'll probably just talk about it. Okay, so we're going to talk about inferencing. You know what inferencing is, right? You don't know what inferencing? What do you think it is?
Like, including different information.
Including different information, yeah, right. So, like, you know how in a text sometimes they give us facts? So, like, in 1999, so-and-so did this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a solid fact. But sometimes we have to, like, read between the lines and figure out that they're trying to give us more information, but not actually telling us that information, you know, kind of thing. All right, so we're going to read this passage called The Zoo. And after we read it, we're going to go back and talk about some places where we can infer.
Okay.
All right, so you are going to read the passage for us. No, you don't have to. You can just start reading.
The children were always good during the month of August, especially when it began near the 23rd. It was on this day that the great silver spaceship carrying Professor Hugo's Interplanetary Zoo settled down for its annual 6-hour visit to the Chicago area. Before the daybreak, crowds would form long lines of children and adult booths, each one clutching his or her dollar, and waiting for the wonderment to see what the race of the strange creatures Professor had brought this year. In the past, they had sometimes treated to three-legged creatures from Venus, or tall, thin men from Mars, or even creatures or snake-like horrors from somewhere more distant this year. This year, as the great round ship settled slowly to Earth on the huge Tri-City parking area just outside Chicago, they watched with the awe of the sides slowly slid to reveal familiar bird cages. In them were some wild breed of nightmare small horses-like animals that moved quick, jerking motions with constant chattered in high-pitched tone. The citizens of Earth clustered as Professor Hugo's crew quickly collected in the waiting dollars, and soon the good professor himself made an appearance, wearing his many-colored rainbow cape and top hat. Peoples of Earth, he called into the microphone. The crowd noise died down, and he continued. Peoples of Earth, this year you see a real treat in your single dollar. A little-known horse spider from Cannes.
Some probably made-up place.
Yeah. Been brought across millions of miles at great expense, gathered around them. See them, study them, listen to them, tell your friends about them. But hurry, my ship will remain here for only 6 hours. And the crowd slowly filled by as at once horde fantasied by these strange creatures. They looked like horses but ran up walls of their cages like spiders. This was certainly worth $1. One man remarked, hurrying away, I'm going home to get the wife. All day long it went like that, until the 10,000 people had filled by the barred cages set into the side of the spaceship. Then, as 6 hours limit ran by, Professor Hugo once more took the microphone in his hand and said, we must go now, but we will return next year on this date. And if you enjoyed our zoo this year, telephone your friends in other cities about it. We will land in New York tomorrow, and next week onto London, Paris, Rome, Hong Kong, Tokyo, then on to other worlds. He waved farewell to them, and as the ship rose off the ground, the Earth's peoples agreed that this had been the very best zoo yet. 2 months and 3 planets later, the silver ship of Professor Hugo settled at another familiar jagged rocks of Can, and the horde of space creatures quickly filled out their cages. Professor Hugo was there to say a few parting words, and then they skewered away into 100 different directions, seeking their homes amongst the rocks. In one horse, the she creature was happy to see the return of her mate of the offspring. She babbled greeting in the strange tongue and hurried to embrace them. It was a long time. It was a long time you were gone. Was it good? And the creature nodded. The little one enjoyed it especially. We visited the 8 worlds and saw many things. The little one ran up to the wall of the cave on the place called Earth that was best. The creatures there wore garments up over their skin, and they walked on 2 legs. But isn't that dangerous? He asked the she creature. No. Her mate answered, there are bars to protect us from them. We remain right in the ship. Next time you must come with us. It's well worth the 19 cosmos it costs. And the little one nodded. It was the very best zoo ever.
Good. All right. So we'll go back. So in the beginning, it gives us the example. Yours is kind of shaded out, but it says the children were always good during the month of August, especially when it began to get near the 23rd. So then they said, I can infer the children are hoping to be allowed to do something fun because parents often promise fun activities to good children. So, we can just talk about it. I don't think you're kind of...
There you go.
I get. Oh, yes. All right. So now it says, before daybreak, the crowds would form long lines of children and adults both. So what could we infer?
That there was really a lot of long lines of children and adults.
Mm-hmm. So, it's alright. We'll just talk about it instead of writing about them. Alright, and then the other one said, the good professor himself made an appearance, wearing his many-colored rainbow cape and top hat. What can we infer that the professor is? So remember, our title's called The Zoo. So what do you think the guy in the rainbow-colored cape and top hat?
Like a showman or something?
Yeah, like a showman, like Greatest Showman, but I don't think he wore a rainbow cap.
No.
Did you see that movie?
Yeah. He didn't wear it. It was black on one side, red on the other side.
What was his name?
I don't remember.
I know Zac Efron's in it, but that's about it. Alright, so then tell your friends about them, but hurry. My ship can remain here only 6 hours.
You can quickly get your friends in because I'm only here for a couple more hours.
Why do you think he's only there for a couple hours?
Because he has to go on to different planets.
Yeah, because later in the story we learned that they went to
go
8.
to different.
Yeah, they went to 8 different ones. Alright, 10,000 people had filled by the barred cages.
There was a lot of people by barred cages.
What do you think? So who do you think they're looking at? What do you think the main attraction could have been?
Probably the weird horse thing.
The weird horse thing that they talk about later. Alright. She babbled a greeting in the strange tongue and hurried to embrace them.
She spoke in a weird language and hurried to tell them about it.
Yeah, what kind of language do you think they spoke?
I don't know, probably some alien crap.
Some Asian. Probably. Something better than English, probably. They're like just probably better than ours. The creature there wore garments over their skin and they walked on 2 legs. What can we infer here?
Oh, they wore clothes over their skin and they walked onto it.
Yeah, well, who do you think the creatures are?
Humans.
Humans. So do you think we're the ones in the cages, though? Maybe we're on display. So maybe we have a showman displaying us. And then it says, there are bars to protect us from them. We remain right in the ship. Next time you must come with us. It is well worth the 19 cosmos it costs. What do you think we can infer here?
That there was a lot of there were bars to protect you from the people, and it's well worth the amount of money it costs to go.
Yeah, do you think the zoo's worth the money?
Probably.
Like, do you? Like, the Cleveland Zoo, do you like going?
Cleveland Zoo's fun to go to.
Have you guys gone lately?
It's been a while.
Have you ever been in the Columbus Zoo?
Yeah, we're planning on going.
I like the Columbus Zoo better. They have more animals. And it says, the little one nodded. It was the very best zoo ever.
Little one agreed that it was the best zoo.
Yeah, the little kid just liked the zoo.
And he's back.
And my dog's back. Gets to join us for the lesson. Come on, pups. So, like, we could figure out things even though they didn't say, like, the humans, you know, we could figure out that the creatures. It was a good inference we could have made. Alright, let's read about the Nazi Germans. So, this story was made up. Now, this stuff is a little bit more fact-based. Bradley.
Norway fell quickly. Norway fell quickly. The Nazi Germans' superior military during World War II. Many individuals
Surreptitiously. New word. Alright.
Surreptitiously world to fight back against the Nazis. Well, it managed to go unnoticed. Jan Israel was someone that helped in the fight against the Germany. After the Nazis invaded Norway, he escaped Norway after the Nazis' invasion, ended up joining the resistance movement in Britain, and returned to Norway in 1943 as part of the mission to undermine Germany's army there. He was working with a group of 8 men that were planned on using explosives to destroy air control towers. Their group spent a lot of time planning their mission, but a grave mistake ended up
endangering
the safety of everyone involved.
Alright, so what was this about?
It was about how Germany was superior in one of the world wars, and how did they try to plan to stop them, but they endangered a lot of people who were helping.
Yeah, and who was Jan Bas Ursel that we read about?
He was a person who helped Norway try to beat Germany and escaped to help Norway to defeat the Germans.
Yeah, so he's someone that like kept leaving Germany and then coming back to Norway and then going back, and he just kept going back and forth. All right, so let's look at that word that was new. That's surreptitiously. What do you think it means? Proudly, secretly, or bravely?
Secretly.
Why do you say secretly?
Because if you read it back, many individuals, it fits in because many individuals secretly were to fight back against the Nazis.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't. These flies are horrible this year. Yeah, these people didn't want to be open about knowing that they were fighting, right? Because that was a dangerous time, especially because that was like when Hitler was going on and the Holocaust, and that was a bad war. Like, good thing we went around. All right, what does grave mean? Tomb, small, or serious?
Serious.
You think grave means serious? Why?
Because if you make a grave mistake, it's a really bad mistake you made.
Yeah. And what kind of mistake did they make?
They made a really bad one that's endangering everyone involved.
Yeah. What do you think their mistake was? It doesn't tell us, but what do you think it was?
Well, it says they're doing something with explosives, so probably they messed up making something, and it could endanger them with it.
Yeah, it probably, maybe blew up some people and wasn't supposed to. What was the effect of the foreshadowing in the last sentence? Do you think it lets the reader know that the mission will be successful? It suggests to the reader that the problem will affect the mission, or there is no foreshadowing? And do you know what foreshadowing is?
I feel. What were we asking again?
It lets the reader know that the mission will be successful. It suggests to the reader that a problem will affect the mission, or there is no foreshadowing.
I think the second one.
The second one, it suggests to the reader that a problem will affect the mission. Why do you say that one?
Because they're planning to use. He escaped just to try to help them beat him again.
Yeah, and also because we don't know what.
We don't know what the mistake was.
Yeah, we don't know what the mistake was. So maybe if they wrote more, they would tell us what the mistake was, maybe, or maybe they wouldn't. Who knows? I don't know. I'm confused. I have to read more. Do you like history? Is history something else that you like?
I don't mind history, but it's not my favorite.
What's your favorite?
Science.
Science. I like science too. What kind of? Do you guys have a science lab in your school?
We have a science lab.
Yeah. Do you guys?
You have to rent it out, but
you
rent it out for hours.
For hours?
Mm-hmm.
Does your teachers do it a lot?
Rarely.
Oh, that's not fun. Do you guys get to do a cool experiment?
Yeah, we do labs down there.
Yeah. What was the coolest thing that you did last year?
It was probably the one we did with computer, where you had to do everything with only a rubber band. You had to take apart a tower with only a rubber band.
How did you do it?
We didn't finish. My group didn't finish.
Well, how did you start to do it? I guess.
We put the rubber band around the cup and pulled it down.
So it didn't work.
It didn't work for us, but everyone else got it.
Oh.
There's only 2 groups of
things. Interesting. What was another project?
Probably the motion one. No, yeah, motion. No. I don't know what the word is. Traction.
Oh yeah. What did you guys do with it?
We figured out which ground has which flooring has most traction. We did it on a table. We did it on the carpet, and then we went in the hallway and did it.
Which one had the most traction?
The hallway.
The hallway. Why?
Because it's smooth. The tables are bumpy.
Oh, are the tables bumpy? Because some tables can be pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But your guys' table not. Oh. That's silly. Alright, one more thing that we're gonna kind of start, but we probably won't finish. So this book's probably... This is not the book that I wanted. That's the book that I want. I'm just throwing it on first. So the book's probably easy for you. It's a little lower, but it's called The Treehouse Detective Club, so it's a mystery. So we're going to read a couple pages and then talk about how we can infer what might happen next before we actually read it. So, go ahead, start reading.
We've got a problem, I said. Jay Bradley looked at me.
My dog.
The Carries, he asked. I nodded. Jay whistled. How? He said. That's a real problem. I don't see why the Carries are a problem, said Meg. They're nice.
So you can already infer. Why do you think
that someone did something, that these people did Carries, that probably a family did something to the treehouse?
Ooh, you think something into the treehouse. Alright, let's read the next page. Just keep reading. We're going to read a couple pages.
Do we both?
Yeah, read both, and then we'll talk.
Stinky Morgan groaned. Jenny Miller rolled her eyes. We were all up in the treehouse when the Walnut Street Detective Club was in session. The Carries are nice, I said patiently.
Yep.
But they said we make too much noise. They don't like us watching them through the spyglass, and they don't like our treehouse.
Keep going. I don't know if we do.
Why not? I said. I think it's great, said Jenny. She was hanging upside down from a branch. Besides, it's been here for a year. How come they don't like us? How come they don't like it now? They used to go to work. Now they're retired, so they're home and they can see us and hear us.
Oh, so now what's going on? So you were right about that they don't like the treehouse or something with the treehouse. But what else is going on here?
That now we know that the people are retired and have to hear and see them constantly.
Alright, let's see what happens. I can do a couple more.
This is serious, said Jay. I'll say it is, I said. I knocked on the treehouse floor. The Walnut Street Detective Club will come to order. Mr. Carey told me that told my dad that this tree house is an awful old wreck. It is not an old wreck, said Stinky. He's called Stinky because he always is stepping on stinkweed plants in the woods. My dad's builder. My dad's a builder, he said. He says in the treehouse is solid as a rock. I don't think that's what Mr. Carey means, Meg said. We looked around. The treehouse did look pretty bad. There were 2 banana peels and a couple of old apple cores on the floor. There was an old T-shirt Stinky had hung up 2 months ago, for a pirate's flag. Maybe the Carries didn't like living next to the pirates.
So why do you think they said it's an old wreck?
Because they probably had the treehouse for a while.
Yeah, and
or they've had.
Kind of sounds like it's kind of gross with
Yeah.
some banana peels and
shirt hung up as a flag.
Yeah. Did you guys ever? You guys never did that with your little jungle bit? That got gross.
Yeah, gross. Quick.
Yeah, you guys tore that down. All right, let's read like 2 more pages.
We're tearing it down to make a doghouse.
Aw, so cool! I can't wait.
Detectives' hideouts aren't supposed to be in other people's backyards. That's what Mr. Carey says. I told them Mr. Carey says he's sorry, but the treehouse has to come down. That's terrible, said Meg. We've got to find a way to fight back, Jen said. We have to find a way to show him a treehouse isn't bad, I said. We have to prove the detectives are good neighbors.
Alright, so where's the treehouse at then? Is it in...
It's in one of their backyards.
Is it in the neighbor's backyard or their backyard?
Their backyard.
Oh, because it's kind of sounding like it might be in their neighbor's backyard. And that's why the old guy... Maybe that's why. So maybe we can infer that. Let's read this last page.
Okay. Can't believe this, Meg said. Miss Carey always gives us cookies when we solve the case of the missing cookies. Mr. Carey said he was proud of us. We formed the Walnut Street Detective Club to solve the mystery. The thief turned out to be my beagle dog, Wallace. He could reach Carey's kitchen windowsill when he stood on his hind legs. That was months ago, I said. We haven't had a case since. There's never any trouble in this neighborhood, Jay said. Jay sighed. We'd better all go home, I think. I said at last. Take your junk with you and don't yell or cut through Carey's backyard.
Maybe it's not in their backyard then. Because now they're talking about don't cut through their backyard. Maybe it's not partially, like both sides, like the property lines. I bet we have cranky neighbors that would be like, your treehouse has to come down.